everybody. Today I'm going to review DEWALT's DCF899 half-inch high torque impact wrench. Now this is one of the newest tools in DEWALT's 20V max lineup. It'll run off any of their 20V max batteries, so whether that's the high capacity packs or even the compact packs, they're going to power it exactly the same way. And best of all, it has 3 different speed or power modes. So if you're dealing with smaller fasteners, you don't have to worry about stripping them out or breaking them off. And then if you're dealing with really heavy duty stuff, you can pop that over on speed or power mode 3 and put maximum torque through to the fastener. Now what I want to do in this video is show you exactly what comes in the kit. We'll take some closer up looks at it, and then we're going to do some extensive torque testing to prove what those power levels actually are. They do have different options as far as purchasing this. So if you're already part of DEWALT's 20V max lineup and you don't need additional batteries or a charger, you can buy the impact by itself as a bare tool. But if you do pick it up as a kit, one of the options they have includes the impact, 2 5Ah high capacity battery packs, a dual voltage charger that will charge the 20V max batteries, as well as the 12V max batteries, and a protective tool bag. Here's a closer up look at the impact wrench, and I do want to point out that the entire yellow portion you see is going to be a very hard plastic. The black portion extending the entire way around the grip is going to be a softer rubber overmold. And then they have rubber bumpers built in on the side of the housing. The front of the nose cone is going to be made out of metal, and unlike some other cordless impact wrenches, at the current time this does not have the option for a protective boot. As far as the overall dimensions go, you do need to keep in mind any half-inch cordless high torque impact wrench is not going to be a small tool, and from the front to the back it's coming in at 8 3/4 inches long. From the very top to the bottom of the high capacity battery, it's just over 10.5 inches. And then the weight's coming in at 7 pounds 2 ounces. The trigger is going to be variable speed, meaning just like a drill, depending on how hard you press in on it, it will make the motor run faster or slower, applying more or less torque. And then just above that is going to be a black selector switch that will move left to right. All the way in the left position, it will be in forward. All the way in the right position, it's going to be in reverse. And then in the middle position is actually going to be a trigger lock to prevent you from accidentally pressing in on it, draining your battery. At the base of the grip, you can see a black selector switch that you can slide left to right, and it's going to click into place in front of 1, 2, or 3. 1's going to be a low torque or low speed mode. 2 will be the mid torque, and then 3 is going to be high torque. Now you can adjust this in forward or reverse, and if you are dealing with very small or delicate fasteners, you do want to put that in speed or power mode 1 so you don't damage anything. Now if you're dealing with very heavy duty bolts, you can slide that over to max power, which would be speed or power mode 3. And to show you just how easy that is, we'll put it on speed or power mode 1, pull it on the trigger, and it's going to go very slow. We'll put it on speed or power mode 2, and that's going to be mid torque. And then finally, speed or power mode 3 would be the high torque setting. Also at the base of the grip, just in front of the speed or power mode selector switch, you will notice an LED. Now this is going to light up anytime you're using the impact wrench, and it's going to illuminate what you're working on. So in a low light situation, maybe on the side of the road or in an unlit garage, that can really help you out lining up the socket to whatever fastener you're dealing with. Now you can notice once I press it on the trigger, it will light up. We didn't even need to turn the anvil, and the LED is going to have a 20-second delay. The motor does have an electric brake, and unlike pneumatic impact wrenches, or even some cheaper cordless impact wrenches that will continue turning when you let off the trigger, the brake will stop the anvil from turning, and it's not going to spin the socket completely off, or let's say your fastener completely off when you're working with something. So you can notice when I hold it on the trigger on this, it will be turning, but as soon as I let go, the socket will stop immediately. Now for a forward torque test, we will be testing each of the 3 different speed or power modes to get a specific torque rating on each one. And to do that, I'll be using a Skidmore Wilhelm Model M with a 1 1/4 inch bolt and a 2-inch nut. With this combination, I can accurately measure bolt tension in pounds up to 110,000. We'll take whatever the reading is, divide it by 70, and that's going to give us our torque rating. Now what we'll be doing are 3 different runs on each setting, alternating batteries between each run, and I'll also be changing out all the lubricant on the washer face, on the back of the nut, as well as the threads with a fresh coating of R-0050 test bolt loop from Skidmore Wilhelm. We're going to run each test for 15 seconds. And what we'll be also using is a brand new Sunex Model 264 impact socket. This is going to give us very accurate results, and I want to thank Sunex for sending this over for our testing. Okay, we just got done with all the torque testing and the numbers were very consistent through each run. In mode 1, which would be the lowest torque setting, we had an average of 10,667 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70 because of the nut and bolt combination we're using. It comes in with a working torque rating on it of 152 foot-pounds. Mode 2 is going to be an average of 28,167 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, it comes in with a working torque rating on it of 402 foot-pounds. And then finally mode 3, which is going to be the high torque setting, had an average of 64,000 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, it comes in with a working torque rating on it of 914 foot-pounds. Now for a reverse torque test, we'll be using a Skidmore Wilhelm Model R with a reverse threaded nut and bolt combination, and we're going to test it exactly the same way as the forward torque test. We're going to take 3 runs on each mode, create an average, divide that by 70, and that's going to give us our working torque ratings. Okay, we're done with all the reverse torque testing. The numbers were very consistent with each mode. Mode 1 had an average of 13,833 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70 because of the nut and bolt combination we're using. It comes in with a working torque rating at 198 foot-pounds. Mode 2 had an average of 30,833 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, it means that its working reverse torque rating is going to be 440 foot-pounds. And finally, mode 3, which is going to be the maximum torque mode, had an average of 71,667 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, and it means that its reverse working torque rating is 1,024 foot-pounds. So now you've seen DEWALT's brand new DCF899 half-inch high torque impact wrench for yourself. Now as far as cordless impact wrenches go, this is going to be the most powerful one that I've tested up to this date, and we can see that very plainly from the forward and reverse torque testing. Now, because it does have 3 different speed or power modes, you can really fine-tune that depending on what you're working on. And if you are dealing with smaller fasteners, keeping that on speed or power mode 1 would probably be the way to go so you don't accidentally damage anything. Now, if you're dealing with larger bolts, let's say on a suspension, popping that over to speed or power mode 3 is going to put a lot more torque through to the fastener. Now, you do want to keep in mind the particular version that I was using has the friction ring or hog ring anvil. And that means that installing and removing sockets is very easy to do and doesn't require any additional tools. They do have an additional version that looks almost exactly like this, but the anvil is going to be different, and it's known as a pin detent version. That's going to be best for the construction trades, and you need to physically press that pin in to install or remove a socket. If you are working in a garage, the friction ring is definitely going to be the way that you want to go. Now, I do want to point out, because this is running off DeWalt's 20-volt max batteries, it can run off the high-capacity packs or even the compact packs exactly the same way, and DeWalt does cover it with a 3-year warranty. So if you ever do have a problem with it during that time frame, if you contact them, they're going to fix it for you free of charge. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.